Good morning, everybody. We are ready to start. A little bit of a late start this morning, but that's okay. We are getting there. We are all together. We are finally all cohesive, or something like that. I took 3 days off because I was home with my little one. It was spring break. His daycare was closed. My wife had projects she had to work on, so I stayed home. Tried to write. That's hard to do with a 4-year-old around, but did get some work done. You may have seen I posted something somewhere about working on a super technical video, which I've been scripting. It took all 3 days to script because it was, well, because of a 4-year-old. But I didn't get to shoot that in preparation for today, but I'm going to shoot it tomorrow, edit it, and I will release that one next Thursday. And I'll leave what it actually is as a surprise. So that's really fun. But let's see here. Anything else before we start the show? No, I guess that's it. So it's kind of a hazardous, haphazard. That's the word I was looking for. Kind of morning. Greetings, everybody. Howdy in the chat room. You know the routine. Say hello in the chat room. If you got a question for me, put @PhotoJoseph in front of it, and we'll hit that at the end of the show. But for now, let us begin the show, shall we? On today's photo moment, we're going to be exploring the blind spot crack light, interesting name, and something called the power junkie. Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. Today we're looking at this really interesting light from a company called Blind Spot. Now, Blind Spot's been around for a little while. They're a small company out of the UK who make really, really good LED lighting. In fact, last year at NAB, they were brought in to light the entire Atomos booth, if you can imagine that. So pretty extensive project that they had there. And this is their newest project, their newest product. It is called the Crack Light. And you know, I leave this up to you to decide why it's called the crack light. Is it because it's so awesome that it's like crack, you're gonna need a whole bunch of them? Or is it because it's so thin it'll fit into a crack? Is it, I don't know. You tell me why it's named that. I didn't ask, I chose not to. But it is a fantastically thin, super thin, super lightweight, very bright LED light that is powered by USB. So, how do you power this thing? Well, we're gonna get into this part of it in a moment, because this is kind of an extra little cool thing. But I want to show you that all you have to do to power it is just plug it into anything USB. Like I can plug it into my computer here. Probably helps if you put the port the right way. Plug that into my computer there, and look, I've got LED light. I can, however, unfortunately, they didn't send me the adapter for my iPhone, but you can actually power it from your phone. You have a little Lightning or USB-C to normal USB adapter. Plug that in, and suddenly you're powering this light from your phone itself. You can power it from a power brick. I had one around here somewhere. Something like this, my monstrous Goal Zero. I would imagine this thing would power it for probably about a month. Plug this thing on, and there you go, power. So anywhere where you can get USB power, plug it into a little iPhone charger in the wall, anywhere, and you can get it. You can get USB extension cables for cheap from Amazon, so that would allow you to position this pretty much anywhere you want. Because it's so lightweight, you can tape it to anything. You can, gosh, you Velcro it to stuff. You could probably magnetize it to a wall even. There's just kind of an infinite possibilities here. Now this is actively, as of, what is today, the 28th of March 2019, this is a Kickstarter project. If you click on the links down in the description, it'll take you to the Kickstarter page. If you're watching this after the Kickstarter has finished, then it'll be taking you to a product page where you can buy it. But here it is. You can see the pricing on here. This is it's out of the UK, so it is in pounds. So it's a 30-pound pledge to get the crack light without the dimmer. And we're going to show you the dimmer in a second here. And that's actually early bird pricing, of which there's still a few left. Then there's 40 pounds or more for the normal pricing, and then it goes up to crack light with dimmer is 57 pounds, crack light with dimmer 70 pounds for normal pricing, and on and on. So you got a few different options in there, buying multiple lights and so on. Let's get to this little guy here that you can choose to get with it or not, the dimmer. This is quite a cool little contraption. So instead of building the battery and the dimmer and all that hardware into this device, they've chosen to leave all of this separate, which I will admit, once you put it all together like I had at the opening of the show, a single light is suddenly all this stuff. And so there are easier solutions for having everything all in one. But by separating it out into different pieces like this, it really does extend the versatility of it. Meaning, like I said, you can put this anywhere. You can power it for something that will last virtually forever, whatever it might be. So it's just a different option type of lighting. I will do a video in the future comparing this to other small LED lights as far as cost, performance, battery life, that sort of thing. But for now, we're just talking about what this thing does. So back to the dimmer. The dimmer, let's do a close-up on this. It's quite an interesting little gadget. So you've got on here, flip it the right way. There we go, it's blind spot on there. You've got a male USB here and a female on the top there. And if you look at the back, it actually tells you, plug that into the battery, plug that into the LED, or the LED into that, I should say. There's a power switch on there, power switch. And then, of course, it says dimmer, and there's a little slider rocker type of thing, dimmer on the top there. So if I take this and plug this into my power source, I'll just plug this into my big old power brick here and plug the light into that. Probably helps plug it in the right way. There we go, turn that on. Oh, I have to turn the battery on here. There we go. Turn on the battery, turn the light back on. And now I've got, you can see there, it's quite a lot dimmer on there, and I have a little rocking switch dimmer on the side. Nice. Okay, so that's your dimming hardware, which you can choose to use or not. If you want it at full power, you don't need the dimmer. Then we get into this. Now, this is a separate product. This is actually currently shipping, limited countries right now, but it's going to be shipping all over pretty soon. This little thing here is called the Power Junkie. Now, the Power Junkie is designed to hold an NP battery. We'll slap that on there in a second. So the NP battery just slides right in here. It then has 2 USB ports and a DC power tap. So this means that you can charge your phone from this. You could use this to charge anything or power anything that requires USB power. The DC tap on there means that you could actually power a camera from it. So they also make adapters for a variety of cameras. So here's, first of all, just take a look at this, the Power Junkie itself on Amazon. So this is the page that we're linking to below. This is what gives you, well, this is what gives you the ability, the interface between the battery and everything else. And then they have 3 different battery dummies, dummy batteries, if you will, that are shipping right now. Here's the one for Panasonic. So $30 for that, and that will give you the ability to power any G-series Panasonic camera. So you could power a camera using Sony DTAP batteries. This is a small one. These things get huge, right? So you could have, not DTAP, Sony NP batteries. These things get absolutely huge, so kind of awesome there, right? So let's see here. If I put this whole thing together, let's slap this on. Slap that into place on there. And it's got a little battery readout on the side on here, so you know your battery power. Then if I want to power something or charge something, let's just charge my phone real quick. I'll plug this into here. So there's a standard lightning cable. Plug this into my phone, and voila, we are now charging the phone. Right, so you got that kind of option. You can plug in both at once. Again, you can plug that in to a camera, to power a camera. On the side of this, you have two USB inputs. These are for charging the Sony battery. So you can use this as an interface to get power from the battery to something else, or get power from something else to the battery. It's just this super versatile interface that sits between your battery and the rest of the world. The bottom of this has a 1/4-20 jack on it, so you can screw that into something. It has a cold shoe mount, so you can find a clever way to mount that up to a camera. And it also has a tiny little, right here, receptacle for shoving a zip tie through. Now, I will admit that it can be a little bit of a challenge to kind of get that just through and bend it around, but you can. That is designed to put a zip tie in. It actually has a tiny little loop on the side here, which I found if you have a small enough zip tie, that will fit into there as well, so you can hang it like so. So a couple different ways to mount it. Cold shoe, 1/4-20, zip tie, really basically just a super versatile device. And yeah, and then if you want to power the light itself, let's plug that all together. Take that light, take the dimmer, we'll go ahead and go with a full dimmer on there, plug this thing in, plug this into here, and now we've got what I opened the show with, this admittedly kind of an odd contraption, but a way to power this with a dimmer from an NP battery. Pretty neat. Overall, I kind of like it. Hey, do me a favor, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up, hit like, hit subscribe, but also share it. There's a share button everywhere you're watching this on YouTube. Hit the share button, let the world know about it, tell a friend, get the word out, help spread the word, get these videos seen by a few more people. I would super appreciate that. Let's go into the Q&A. For those of you watching live, the Q&A is about to start. For those of you not watching live, the Q&A will be appearing right here in just a moment. Greetings, everybody, and welcome back. I'm pulling up the Q&A now, so this is, of course, the live show following this fun little crack light. I see a bunch of people saying good morning, greetings. Ricardo says the opening music is louder than my voice. Okay, I'll have to check that. When I got my mixer back in place, that may not be something, maybe something I haven't recalibrated. So I will check that. Thank you for letting me know. Sean says, is this what doctors use during an annual exam? You're hysterical. And let's see here. Audio Dabbler, what is the color and luminance of the light? Okay, so the LED lights are daylight balanced. I suppose I probably should have mentioned that. Luminance value, you know, I don't know if they have actually published a luminance value of that. Let's just see. It's the kind of thing you would think they would have in here. But let's see, here's some tech specs. Let's jump to tech specs and see what it says. 120 degrees, daylight, 6,000 degree Kelvin, daylight, CRI as 95, very nice. 1830 lumens at 0.3 meters, or not lumens, sorry, lux, 760 lux at 0.5, 220 lux at 1 meter. So there you go. That's very, very useful. And 3 to 100% continuous power with a flicker through using that dimmer, which is pretty awesome. I'm actually doing another video talking about lighting, and a lot of cheap LEDs flicker when they dim. So this is a good one that does not. Ricardo says, very cool idea, this light. Could it be better with some way to grip it? Well, I think that's the idea behind its design, in that it's so thin and light, you can grip this using anything. I mean, you could use a kitchen chip bag clip, that's one, a chip bag clip, right? You could tape it to something. I mean, it's so lightweight. Okay, it doesn't stand up on its own, but if you hold it like there, it'll just stand up on its own. It's just a super lightweight. That's part of it. How lightweight it is gives you a lot of versatility in where you put it, and how thin, right? If you, I don't know, here's a scene, right? You want to, you're shooting in a car, and you want to have someone pull down the rear view, not the rear view, what do you call it? The sunshade, as if they were going to look in the mirror, right? And you pull that down, you have one of these taped to the mirror, so they pull it down, and suddenly it's illuminating their face. I don't know, I just made that up, but there's a lot of different ways that you could use this. I think it's super cool, and I think that it's one of those, you get a couple of these in your bag, and you'll find a use for them. That would be my opinion. Oaxaca Guide says, off-subject question maybe, what telephoto lens do you suggest on a GH5 for shooting surfers? Use the 100 to 400 in Sony, but what for the GH5? Actually, that exact same lens, the 100 to 400 is going to give you the most reach. 800 millimeter equivalent handheld, that's what I would get. Blind Spot Gear. Oh, hello, Blind Spot Gear. Look at that. They're here now. Blind Spot Gear says, every light now comes with a 1/4-20 mount. It was a stretch goal. Oh, interesting. Oh, awesome. That's really great to hear. So let's see if that's on here. Is that on the page in here? Let's see here. Thank you for sharing that, Blind Spot. I'm glad you guys were able to show up in here. I'm going to show, suppose I should just go through here and show you. They've got some really neat, oh, this is a clever idea. Look at that. So mounting, probably should have gone through this page before the show. They used a GoPro flat sticky mount to mount to the back of the light and then attach to a GoPro thing. And now you've got a bunch of ways. That's so neat. So many different ways you could do it. Oh, you know, something I didn't mention in the main show, probably should have, is that this is, being a panel that is flexible, it's also waterproof. So you could like stick this into water. You can't put this part in water. I mean, I suppose if you really got, no, just don't. You can't put this part in water, but you can put this part in water. So if you, well, you can get it wet, or if you wanted to illuminate something, like dip this into a little aquarium, light the fish or something, you could do that. Kind of neat. Like the fact that it's waterproof. Let's see here. Oaxaca says, great video. Why, thank you. Where is it? Ricardo says, I'm thinking holding a camera with this on top anyway is easily breakable. I do not feel this is easily breakable. This is, let me get a little close up in here of this part of it. This seems very, very well made. You know, it's designed to bend and take a bit of a beating. I'm sure if I, you know, pulled hard enough, I could rip it apart. Maybe not, but we're not going to find out because I actually really like this light. You know, this is a standard, I would say, USB cable. It seems pretty thick and robust. They've got the nice bend, I don't know what you technically call these, but the bend torsion absorber things on there. So that's good. No, I think it's strong. I mean, this feels very, very robust, very well made in here. I think this thing is definitely going to last. And I wouldn't worry about if you're mounting this on top of a camera. If you're just taping it onto something, I wouldn't worry about it getting hurt. I think you're going to be just fine with it. Audio Dabbler, I like the modular nature of this light, opens up the options of its usages. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I pointed out, you know, it's not as convenient per se as something that is all enclosed, where you have, like some of the lights I've reviewed on here before, you know, Aperture makes one, a couple other companies, a small, this size-ish LED light that has its battery and its dimmer and everything built in. Those are awesome. Love those, use them all the time. This is just a different approach, and separating the pieces out there does give you some different options. You know, this is not the tool for every lighting job, just like that other one with the all enclosed is not the tool for every lighting job. Pardon me. Let's see here. Anything else on there? Nothing else yet. So if you got any more questions, you know what to do. Drop them in there. I'll do my best to get to them. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Let's go back to the Kickstarter page real quick. They got some nice videos on here. I was looking for the 1/4-20 mount stretch goal. Is that what this is? Oh, look at that. There it is. When we reach the goal, every crack light will include one of these mounting solutions. Ooh, that's kind of neat. I like it. It's like this solid aluminum or something. Yeah, aluminum mount pod. Huh, very cool. Excellent. Love all these options in there. Right on. So there you go. Some other fun things. SRO Digital says, I'm just liking the light because it's from the UK. First time for a UK item review in the last 2 years I've been watching this show. You think, really? Well, then, my friend, you need to get out to some of your UK brethren and say, hey, we got this bloke over in the Yank. You call me a Yank. That's all good. You can say we got this Yank who wants to review your stuff on his show. Get something out to him. I get stuff from China all the time. I would love to get some more stuff from the UK. So if you got another UK company you want to have their stuff shown off, assuming it's any good, obviously, then by all means, get it out here. Yeah, fun stuff. I'm digging it. It's funny, when they first reached out to me about the product, and I saw this thing, I was like, okay, that's weird. I mean, cool, but weird. And it wasn't until I really got my hands on it that I started to see all the options and how it's basically just a super, super versatile interface between one of these and everything else, which is pretty cool. And the fact that you can charge it from here, and if you remember, but when I did, or for those of you who saw the show I did on the Field World LED panel, it came with a USB charging NP battery holder. Is that the right way to put it? Yes. And I said, this is the first time I've ever seen one of those. That was before I actually had realized that that's what this does too. Very cool. So there you go, USB charging. Pardon me. Let's see here. Audio Dabbler says softbox or diffuser options for the light. I mean, that's up to you, right? There's no contraption. They're not making a softbox diffusion panel, but you could obviously diffuse this by just putting anything in front of it. So yeah, if you're going to diffuse it, that's how you do it. It doesn't come with any type of a diffusion softbox, but you can just kind of rig your own. Regardless, that you could tape a piece of paper over it. Absolutely. I mean, if obviously that would lose a fair amount of light, but if you wanted to do that, you could. If you get too close, Like if you just put a paper right up to it, then you're not going to get a whole lot of diffusion because the individual beads will still be pretty prominent. The whole reason you would need to diffuse, most common reason I should say that you would need to diffuse a light like this is because if you're hitting a reflective surface, you're lighting a reflective surface, you might see the individual little light beads, which you probably don't want to see. By diffusing it, you won't see that. So putting a paper right up to it, those individual beads might pop through. You need to separate it out just a tiny bit, but there you go. There you go. Okay, I guess that's it. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. That was a fun little show. Neat little product. I'm stoked about it. Hope you enjoyed learning all about it. You know what to do if you want to buy one. Scroll down below, hit their Kickstarter, get it while it's a good, cracking good deal. You see what I did there? And if you missed the Kickstarter, then, well, you just have to buy it later. And again, the Power Junkie is shipping now, limited countries that it's shipping to, but that will be expanding soon. So just that same link down below will always work for that. And I would certainly recommend getting the dimmer along with it, but at the same time, you know, a bag full of these, even without the dimmer, dead useful. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. See you next time. Bye-bye.